Hi everybody. It is a very snowy, very cold day here in North Carolina. We are currently under 8 inches of snow and more coming down every minute. So I thought I would take the time to show you guys the new dies that have just come in. These are going to be live up on the website shortly. If you would like to order these, just let me know and I will get them out to you, or you can go straight to the website and order them directly from there when they get on there. It should be sometime by this evening. All right, without further ado, some of these sets have been a long time in the making, but they're finally here. The first one is Paper Art. And you'll notice that two of the borders look a lot like Old West of the mountainside, and they're designed that way. They can be partnered with the Old West dies to create some beautiful backgrounds. And they're also designed to look like torn paper. These other die shapes, this one is basically it's a blown up version of a spiral bound notebook. This is a postage stamp look, and this one actually is a notebook. So this one is very special because it cuts the hole and then a little bit of a slit. And then what you'll do with your paper is you'll cut your paper along that line and that edge. And this is what it creates. It's this one right here. But what this does is this has the ability to come out and actually go into a spiral bound notebook. What I mean by that is, I can't remember if I glued it all the way down or not. There it is. Okay. I'll pull this off just real quick so you can see. So when you cut your straight line here, what this will do is this will allow you to bring it into a standard spiral notebook and actually fit into the spots where those spirals sit. Okay, it's the correct ratio of a standard spiral bound notebook. I think it's 3 to 1 inch, 3 holes to every 1 inch, or it might even be 4, but it's close. I made the measurement as exact as I possibly could. Okay, so like I said, this goes in and it locks into that spiral so that if you wanted to have, you know, something that you wanted to add to a notebook or anything else like that, or if you wanted to create a notebook, you can with this die set. Okay, and then again, it's just as easy to pull it back off. All right, so that's Paper Art. It's 5 dies, and then again, here's your examples on the back, and then our YouTube channel videos are going to be there. Okay, that's one. The next one we have is Heart and Star Art. Okay, and this one looks kind of interesting. There's what we call a negative space die, and then there's a positive die, and then there's also the individual stars and hearts as well. Okay, and this one is going to create this. And what you're going to be able to do is you're going to be able to create just the negative space and then put whatever you want behind it. Or you can also cut what I call the coin or medallion, and then put the negative space on top of that and then cut it again, and then you'll get these. Okay, so you can do just the negative, you can do just the medallion, or you can do the negative and the medallion in either or the heart or the stars. The other thing that you could do with the medallion is cut it in half, and that gives you a new scallop border as well. This one is really, really cool. Like I said, there's a lot we can do with this. Again, this works on our same 3-circle concept of shapes and sizes. So existing dies that we have out will actually work with this as well. You could easily incorporate falling maple into this. You could also incorporate cogs and daisies into this. You can also do your paw prints into this as well. Okay, now the paw print border won't fit exactly into these because, like I said, this is a big and a small and a big and a small. So you would, if you wanted the negative imprint, you would have to take that independent paw print and then cut it out independently and run it through that many more times. It will turn out very, very cute. Don't get me wrong. It's just going to be a little time consuming. But can be done because, like I said, we partner with everything forward and backwards. So that is the special thing about our die sets. Okay, so there's that one. This one is going to be a combination of an old set that we have taken off the market, and then we redid and added another thing to it. And this is sewing art. And what sewing art is going to get you is I fixed the rickrack on the So Happy set and got it to where there is now faux stitching on both sides, and you only have to cut it once, and then it gives you both this edge, and your center rickrack piece as well. So we fixed that with this die, and I really, really love how it turned out. And then the other thing that we did was we created a zipper, which, you know, obvious what it is, but what people are going to get confused about is there's 2 dies in this piece, and there's, when you actually combine all 3, you get this right here. You'll get the faux stitching line with this piece. You'll get this piece gives you the cut between the 2, and then this piece gives you all these the metal teeth. Okay, but what this piece is going to do, it's going to cut this. And then what I did was, the new dies are really, really nice in that they release very easily off of our die sets. So the pieces don't actually get stuck into the dies as much. So once you run this through, if you very, very carefully remove the die, it will leave the pieces inside of the paper. And then what I did was I just took a piece of washi tape. The new CM Blue Tack tape is perfect for this because the tackiness is just the right amount. And then I just put it all the way over these, and then I lifted them up, and then this is gauged to perfectly sit inside of here. So you just flip it over, put your adhesive on a couple of pieces, tack them down, and then gently pull it back, then put your adhesive on a couple more, do it again, pull it back, and then they're perfectly aligned to where if I took this and laid it right over this, you'll see that it fits right in there. Okay, I did that to try and make it as stress-free as possible when you're trying to align these, so you didn't have to like pick up every single one and align every single one exactly. Another thing that you can do is you can take this piece, lay it on top of this, and then use it as a template to put the teeth back in there as well. That's another way if you want to do it independently. Like if you wanted to change the colors, if you wanted to do like a rainbow color or something to that effect, you could do that as well. And then, of course, it has the little sewing zipper. And then that one, what it does is it has 2 ways that you can do it. This piece I made long enough that if you wanted to wrap it over itself, you could. And that kind of gives you a little bit more freedom to move this piece. Or I also created a slot, and you could slip it through the slot and then just have it hanging off. Okay, so that is Sewing Art. And again, So Happy is discontinued. That is the new version of that. Okay, this one I have wanted in my arsenal for a very, very long time. I have had it designed for a very long time. It is finally here. This is Drippy Art. Now, Drippy Art has 4 dies. There's one on the back. Okay, it has 2 like gooey type dies, and then 2 icicle melty type dies. Okay, and this is what they look like. All right, the melty dies are really cool because they have both borders that you can use, and you can flip them, and they look, this one looks a lot like icicles or teeth for a monster. If you wanted to do like some big googly eyes on a monster page, you could. Lots of ideas that I have floating around my head on how I'm using these. And then it also has these drips. Now, the bottom doesn't really drip the same when you flip it upside down and do it this way like that. It's not as nice as this one is, but if you use it from the bottom going up, this would go great for like a seaweed or coral or some type of underwater look like that. So I've got a couple of layouts that I'm got in my head to do with this one, and I can't wait to see how it turns out. This is the smaller version of this. The neat thing about this one is, like I said, it's smaller. It's a repeated version, so it's literally this one compacted down and then repeated. That made it really, really nice and kind of gives it a little bit of combinations. Actually, I think I flipped it. Looking at this one, yeah, I did. I got this half and then I flipped it over. But that's what it is. So anyhow, but these 2, like, I'm really happy with. I have a lot of things in mind to use these. This one, I have an example coming up that I'm partnering it with crayons to create candles. So I've talked about that in the past, and that's actually coming. So hold on strong, and we'll get some examples out of that soon. Hopefully this weekend, since, you know, no one's going anywhere, I'll be scrapbooking. So that's Drippy Art. Again, long time in the making. All right, now this one is not new, but it is redone. when we switched companies, we had to redo all of the designs anyways because they had to be made in the new format. So I changed this one, and this is chevrons. And if you have the old set, you might still want to pick this set up because, like I said, I did make some changes. What I changed was the widths. These two dies here are no longer that 1/4 inch width. They're a little bit bigger than that. This one I think is almost 3/4. It's a little over half. And I did that because I wanted them to complement the original set if you already had it, but not leave you out in the cold if you didn't buy the original set, because we are not going to remake that original set. Okay, but this one, the bonus to it is it has 5 dies in it. Okay, and they are going to give you, this is the look that they're going to get. So this die has not changed. This, because this one partners with Southwest, and there's a square that goes in the center here. So that one we did not change. What we did change, and I think the small one we didn't change either. What we changed was this one got a little bit wider, and these two got wider. Okay, and then they can layer the center one here, layers directly onto this one. So I didn't do 2 separate pieces because I figured you could kind of see it with that. All right, but this one this thin one here can still braid like the original one did. It's just not as thin, but it does look very, very pretty. And like I said, you can also work it with the other one, and that other one will fit exactly in here as well if you do have it. Okay, but again, this is remade. It will go under the same SKU, so you'll see chevrons, and this is now what you'll see. So if you have bought the other one in the past and do want to buy this one again, don't get confused that it's the same set, because it's not. All right, just a quick video, just a quick little spiel on some of the guys coming up, and I'm going to get right on my computer now and get going on these to bring them out to you so that they're online and ready for you. Thanks a lot, everybody, for supporting my company, and we hope to see you soon.